Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Introducing from Atlantic City, New Jersey, weighing in at 210 pounds, your Italian hero, Joey Image!
Hey everybody, how are you? Joey Image here with another episode of That Image Guy, and I gotta thank everyone for hanging out every week or every other week or whatever it is. We are here now at episode 39 already, and which is funny because in about a month I will be 39. So maybe a month and a week or two or something like that. Anyway, how is everyone? How you doing? What's going on today? I don't really have a lot of time today. So we're going to do a short episode, and I know I say that every time, but I'm really hoping to get this thing done in like maybe 20 minutes. I mean, it's Friday.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
So I don't want to keep you too long. I wasn't going to talk about stuff that happened in the last couple of days. As a lot of you guys know, most of you that listen to this regularly, I try to avoid wrestling only because I've been in it for so long, over 16 years now, and I can talk about that on my Facebook or my Twitter, and there's so many wrestling podcasts out there that are so much more important than mine. So, I mean, I don't really need to talk about wrestling. I mean, I will, obviously I do at times, and I will today, but I try to kind of avoid it just because there's so much of it out there, and I don't want this to be like another wrestler podcast where all we do is talk about wrestling, just like everybody else. And that's another reason why I don't do interviews also. Like, I don't interview people because everyone interviews people. So it's not, there's really not a big draw or an interest there in my eyes. I'll give you a great example. When Stone Cold Steve Austin first started his podcast, his first guest was Jim Ross, and then Jim Ross started his podcast. His first guest was Steve Austin. Well, I just heard a conversation with these two guys. I don't really need to hear another one that soon. And I feel like I don't really want to hear a podcast host interviewed because he's already got his own show. Using myself as an example, a few years ago when I was doing the PW 24/7 radio, we were doing shows 3-4 nights a week. I wasn't doing interviews with other podcasts because I had my own. So I already had my own forum to talk. Why did I need someone else to interview me? I could just talk, For example, we were doing shows on Tuesdays. Wednesdays was the bigger night where we did about 2 shows in a row. Fridays we were doing stuff, and then there was another show on Thursday with Amber O'Neal and Angel Orsini. So there were just so many hours of content that I was a part of. Why would I need to do some other guy's podcast? Why not just talk on my own? It never made any sense to me, and it still kind of seems weird. But anyway, making a long story short, what the hell am I talking about? Let's move on. Anyway, like I said, I didn't want to talk about wrestling, but I guess I have to acknowledge the sad, tragic passing of Chyna, Joni Laurer from WWE fame, and the reality show stuff she did, the Dr. Drew stuff, the Celebrity Rehab stuff she did, the Surreal Life she did. I'm not sure what else. I know I've seen her on a bunch of stuff, and a very sad passing. And what the doctors the coroner, I guess, is saying is it's a possible accidental overdose. Apparently police in the investigation, or police that were called to the scene, said that she had a bunch of pills around and bottles and medications and stuff, so she may have just accidentally OD'd. They're saying, in other words, it's not foul play, it wasn't a suicide, it was possibly accidental, and she may have been dead for days. She was only just found, I guess it was late last night, or may have been the night before, I don't even remember. But it was not something that had just happened, according to the police. Something I read, I don't know if I read it, it was either TMZ or People, I think it might have been People, like People Magazine, their website. So it was saying something like that she may have been already gone for a few days at this point, because she hadn't answered her phone for a couple of days is what I also saw. So, I mean, who knows, hopefully it'll come out. And I don't know if the coroner, I know there's some way where they can tell, like, the time that a person's been deceased. I don't know how they even do any of that stuff, but I know it's possible that they could do it. So I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. I mean, it's really not the public's business how long she had been gone, or really what happened. I mean, it was more for the immediate family and I guess close friends. But of course, it's 2016. Everyone has to know everything about everyone's life. Nobody could just leave, no one can leave anyone with any privacy. I mean, there's no respect anymore, and there's no privacy, and it's not really fun, but whatever, that's what happens. I mean, Jesus, these people pass away. Chyna passed away, and within minutes of it being announced on Twitter, people were bitching and moaning about the Hall of Fame, as if that is somehow important right now. I mean, someone died, man. Someone that people, looked up to, and someone who trailblazed a path for so many other people in a business and a form of entertainment and television shows that are so immensely popular and so widespread. She really did a shitload of good for the world, as it pertains to the world of wrestling and making it mainstream. I mean, she helped make it mainstream. She was a woman going in there beating up guys. If that didn't have something to do, I posted on Twitter, I don't know, the other day, yesterday, whatever it was, that a lot of people are saying that she did a lot for women's wrestling. And I not take umbrage with that statement, but I sort of agree and disagree. She did a lot for women's wrestling. She did more for wrestling, regardless of gender. And thankfully I got there was 150 likes on that tweet, and I don't know, 75 retweets. I couldn't even keep up with all the notifications I was getting. But really, that's the true statement. Not she did a lot for women's wrestling. Yeah. She did more for professional wrestling, and that, I think, is the more important part if you're going to talk about her impact on the sport. Now, speaking of impact, I know she did a 1 or 2 appearances for TNA that I heard did not go that well. She did something with Kurt Angle, I think. I don't really remember it. I think I saw it, though. She did something with Angle and maybe Jarrett. I don't really remember if Jarrett was involved then, but I know she did something with Kurt Angle that I guess didn't go over that well. I don't really know what the deal was. I don't remember. She was someone's bodyguard or something like that. But that's all she wanted, I guess, was to be in the spotlight of wrestling again. And I know she wrote something on her Twitter about a month ago, I guess, saying, actually about 3 weeks maybe, saying, all I want is for one more WWE appearance just to thank fans, because I wouldn't be anything without my fans. And I mean, every wrestler, all of us, myself, anybody else, I don't think I have any fans, and I'm serious when I say that. I don't know anyone that's a fan of mine, other than people that I'm friends with or that, my loved ones or whatever, but that's kind of a given. But I don't know if there's any actual wrestling fans out there that are fans of mine, but in the same sense, I wouldn't be anything, she wouldn't be anything without the fans, is the statement that she made. So, that was 3 or so weeks ago, I think. And, unfortunately, she never actually got that chance. And, of course, that's sad. But, I mean, you really have to look at, I'm trying to be impartial, and I'm sort of partial towards her because I'm a wrestler. She was a wrestler. It's I only met her, I was in her presence twice. I only met her one time, and she didn't really have time to talk. She was doing an autograph signing, and so we didn't really get to talk. I didn't really get to actually meet her and introduce myself. I just kind of said, "Hey, I'm Joe, how are you?" And that's it. Shook her hand, and that was it. But I saw her again recently, October of 2015, at the Chiller Theater Convention, which is a big fan convention in Parsippany, New Jersey, and I was with my girlfriend at the time. And Chyna she just didn't look great. She looked like she had been, she was tired and run down, and just not really. She didn't look very healthy. And I hate to say that because, I know what happened now, obviously, but she just didn't look like she was healthy. I don't know. And I was she was selling her book, and the line was enormous, and I didn't have time to stand there. We had somewhere to be, so I didn't have time to wait in line to formally introduce myself. So I didn't get a chance to do that. But yeah, so I had only interacted with her once, and again, been in her presence twice, but only got to talk to her the one time, and it was for a half a second, and that's it. But I feel like there's people online, especially on Twitter, where people are just not being fair. And I understand she passed away, and people, love her, and they're going to miss her, and fans of hers and all that stuff, but people have to think of both sides of the coin. I'll give you an example. Not an example of both sides of the coin. I'll get into that in a minute. But example of people wanting or expecting too much too soon. The announcement of Chyna's passing was on Twitter for maybe 10 minutes. And there were people tweeting to Stephanie McMahon saying, you're not even going to say anything about Chyna? Why are you living in the past? You're still bitter about what happened with her and Triple H and you and the love triangle thing and blah, blah, blah. And then someone else tweeted to The Rock saying, you're not going to say anything about Chyna? She had a huge influence on the business. And in my head, I'm like, first of all, neither one of them had tweeted in hours. So maybe they weren't holding their phone, staring at it the entire time to see what breaking news is going to come up. You know, maybe they have busy lives, which I'm sure The Rock and Stephanie McMahon both do. Now, I understand people are claiming that Stephanie McMahon, didn't tweet right away because she hates Chyna because of the past and blah, blah, blah. And the funny thing is, to me, people that are saying that Stephanie McMahon is living in the past and she's still pissed off about it, those are the people that are living in the past and then are still pissed off about it, because Stephanie didn't mention the past at all. They did. They brought it up. So, if you're going to bring it up, then obviously it's on your mind. She didn't say anything about it. She wrote something very kind and very respectful. And people, of course, if she said nothing, people would bitch. Oh, you're still pissed about the past. You didn't even say anything about it. She tweeted something very, very kind and respectful, and people bitched. So it's like, people have to grow the fuck up and get the fuck over it. Because every single person that shit-talked Stephanie McMahon because of what she said about Chyna last night on Twitter had zero to do with either one of them. They're all just fans. They weren't there for the whole love triangle thing 15 years ago, whatever it was. 10 years ago, I don't even remember now. 20 years ago, maybe. I don't even know. I don't remember. But, none of them were there. None of them had anything to do with it. Nobody really knows what happened behind closed doors either. How do we know they haven't talked? How do we know something hasn't been resolved in the past few years? We don't. I do know this, though, and this was talked about online multiple times, and this isn't something I'm just making up. Actually, Chyna herself said this in an interview, that WWE paid for her rehab multiple times. Supposedly it was, I think, 4 or 5 times. I don't know if that's numbers legit, but I do know that that's what I've heard. She said it in some shoot interview, and I don't remember where it was, but I'm sure you can look it up on Google. But, I mean, people are claiming that they hate her and WWE hates her and they ignore her and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, who paid for her rehab? They did, more than once, on more than one occasion. Also, recently, Roddy Piper passed away. At his funeral, there was, I don't know if there was pictures, there were reports online of Hunter and Chyna not necessarily reconciling. I don't know about that or what they talked about, but they hugged. He hates her so much that he doesn't acknowledge her passing within seconds of it being reported. Yet they're hugging, very recently at someone else's funeral. Come on, man. I mean, people really are just stretching. It seems like people are stretching to make up and create some kind of drama and some kind of, situation where there really isn't one. It just comes off as silly. Half of them probably weren't even fucking born yet. There's a lot of young fans nowadays. And it's like, it's just ridiculous. Like, and again, she hadn't tweeted in hours. She likely was busy at the time. I mean, it was 11:30 midnight when it was announced. So, I mean, there's a big chance that she was out doing something or whatever, busy or something. So, I mean, it's like, people really just have to, not be so ridiculous. And the thing with The Rock, I mean, the girl that I saw tweet him was like within 10 minutes. And I was thinking the same thing. Maybe he's busy. Maybe he's not staring at his phone waiting for something to pop up. I mean, come on, man. Give the guy some fucking time. 10 minutes? Fuck you. Oh my God. I mean, it's ridiculous. And like, the thing about Stephanie still it bothers me because, again, I'm not sticking up for her. I don't give a shit. I don't know her. I don't care about her. I don't know her. I've never met her, so it's not like she's like ever done me any favors. So I'm not sticking up for her as like a friend or anything like that. I'm saying as common sense, as common human decency, in the wake of a tragedy like this, that so many people are considering a tragedy, that are the same people that are shitting on someone else, for not, I mean, do they expect her, do they expect Stephanie McMahon to drop everything at midnight when this was announced and instantly say, okay, we'll put her in the Hall of Fame right now. She's in the Hall of Fame. Because that's what most people are bitching about, that she's not going to be in the Hall, well, I shouldn't say most. A lot of people are complaining that she's not in the Hall of Fame. I understand people want her in the Hall of Fame, and it's already been explained by WWE why she's currently not. So I don't understand why people keep bringing up the argument. They've already gotten their answer. Why keep going with it? I don't understand. Like, if you're not complaining about everything it's so much less, life itself is so much less stressful and annoying, and there's so much less drama. I think that's what it is. It's like, there's so many people that just want to continue drama and just, in what's the word? Amplify drama for zero reason. It doesn't even make sense. It's like, there's nothing there. There's no problem there. There's no reason why Stephanie McMahon or even Triple H should be getting that kind of heat. Because, you know what? He was with her for a while. He was with her for, 4 years? He clearly loved her. I mean, they lived together for a while. It's not like it's just some, someone that he never gave a shit about or that he didn't know or whatever. So I'm sure that he's not super thrilled about her passing away either. People, really need to fucking back off. Especially when they have nothing to do with it. They don't even know the people involved. So it's kind of ridiculous that wrestling fans assume that they somehow are owed an explanation by Stephanie McMahon or by Triple H or by anybody. It's really, it's kind of ridiculous. So people think that they're owed that or that they even have a right to know that. It's not even, whatever happened is 0% of the public's business. I mean, it's just crazy how people think shit like that, and they somehow justify it. I mean, again, like I said before, let's play both sides of the coin. Chyna went on whatever interview she did a couple years ago or last year, whatever, and said Triple H beat the shit out of me and he was abusive. So people are forgiving that because she passed away, but they're shitting on Triple H and Stephanie because they didn't tweet instantly. And then when they did tweet about it, and they both said very respectful things, they got shit on because of that. People claim that it's not sincere and that, oh, that's bullshit. You don't believe any of that. You're just saying that. They're the owners of a PG international, multi-million-dollar corporation. They have to say something. So when people claim, oh, they didn't tweet anything, or they didn't do it soon enough, or they don't have respect for Chyna or whatever, I think that's kind of bullshit and kind of a shitty thing. Well, it is a shitty thing to say because it's like maybe they didn't have time. Maybe it didn't happen. Maybe they didn't see the news yet or whatever. Because, again, this was only on Twitter. I mean, this, there were people on Facebook that were questioning if it was legit, but the only legitimate posts that I had seen early were Twitter. So, maybe they didn't see it. Like I said, maybe they didn't see it right away or whatever. But it's just ridiculous to just tweet at someone you don't even know and claim they're bullshitting. And another thing regarding the Hall of Fame, when Triple H did the Steve Austin podcast that's on the network, on the WWE network, and he said, well, I think she deserves it, but she hasn't been in because of, in so many words, because she's been doing porn, and if people Googled her, they would see that. It makes sense because what people are jumping to the conclusion that, well, that's disrespectful bullshit and he must hate her and WWE must hate her and blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit speculation. It's fans just wanting something to complain about. Think about it from WWE's side, which 100% of the fans have not done because they think they know everything. They don't. This guy is the COO of a multi-million-dollar international corporation with a PG rating. Do you think, first of all, fans claim how much, of a bullshit thing the Hall of Fame is anyway, because there's no physical building. It's just essentially Vince McMahon picking who he wants to be in it. So if it's bullshit, why do you care who's in it and who's not? Why? If it's such a bullshit, stupid theory, why is it such a big deal that someone is or is not in it? Anyway, that fucking logic or lack of logic aside, the thing is, when you have that kind of criteria and you're a PG company, you simply have to avoid stuff like that. Do you think that financially they want to take a hit, whatever revenue they would lose, sponsorships they might lose, anything like that, for putting someone in their Hall of Fame that did porn? Now, I am 100% in agreement with the statement, but Mike Tyson was a rapist, and he is in the Hall of Fame, and I understand that. But he did, and again, this is an enormous but, because I don't have an excuse for that. I don't think Tyson should be in there after the rape thing anyway, but if I'm going to try to justify it and look at it from WWE's point of view, I'm going to think, well, he was arrested, tried, convicted, did his time, has been released, and has not had an incident since. So, I understand he did his time. The difference between that is he had that incident one time, he did his time, he got out. Chyna did the porn thing multiple times voluntarily. That's what I think they're maybe thinking. Maybe something, again, I don't know anything. I don't have any inside knowledge. I don't know Triple H. I don't know Stephanie McMahon. I don't know Vince McMahon. I do know people at WWE, but I have not talked to anybody about this. But that is one angle that I think they could be looking at. He did what he did. He was tried and convicted for it, and he did the time he was supposed to. He paid his debt to society. She did what she did and then went back and did it again and again and again. She did something like 6 porn movies. It's not like she did a one-time thing and they won't let her in the Hall of Fame because of it. But again, it's a PG company. They can't risk losing that kind of revenue. I mean, people really have to look at both sides of the coin here. And again, I don't agree or disagree with any of it. I'm super impartial to all of it. I just kind of take the information as it comes and process it my own way. I just think that people really need to consider both sides of the coin in a business sense and a personal sense. It's just super ridiculous that people are so quick to jump at a judgment, and yet they're the same people that don't want to be judged. Hey, I'm a wrestling fan, blah, blah, blah. Back when it was not cool to be a wrestling fan and everyone was like, hey, on the down low, I'm a wrestling fan. Now it's now it's kind of cool again to be a fan, but they don't want to be judged for it still. But, they're quick to judge everybody else. I don't know, man. It's just, and again, I've said this before. I don't look at things the same way that any fan looks at things. I look at them from the inside because I have been on the inside for so long. And that is one of the, in my opinion, it's a drawback of being trained and actually getting into the business, because I can't just sit and enjoy something nowadays. Even if I try to just watch Raw and enjoy a match, I find myself saying, I'll watch a couple spots and I'll go, oh man, that was wrong. Or, hey, that looked sloppy or whatever. Like, I'll give you an example. The 8-woman tag team match at WrestleMania that had Lana in it. I don't remember what match it was on the card or even what the who all was in it. I just remember Lana was in it, and I remember she came in, and the first thing she did was like an arm. I think she did an arm wringer or something like that to whoever the other woman was in the ring, and she did it wrong. Instantly, the first thing she did was wrong, and I remember looking at it, and right away I said, "Damn, that was wrong." And it's like I can't not notice that kind of stuff, and that sort of bothers me. Like I said. And in fact, I was taught that, we were taught that in wrestling training. When I was in training, we were taught that please be prepared for, for down the line, even if you're not doing this anymore, you're never going to look at wrestling the same. And it's not going to be like you're just a fan watching. It's going to be like you're going to notice things and pick out things that you may not have picked out before. And sometimes it's going to suck because you want to just watch and enjoy. And it's tough to do that from that perspective, at least. So anyway, I don't know if, people understand that, or if people are pissed off at me now for anything I've said about Chyna or this situation or whatever. I'm not going to say any more about it because I'm already close to the 22-minute mark here, and I kind of don't want to go much longer. But, I mean, feel free to tweet me your thoughts, really. I mean, with respect, okay? I mean, I don't want any tweets like, you're a fucking asshole. Oh, yeah, well, so are you, okay? I don't want any bullshit like that. I mean, please, let's be adults here and be respectful. Or if you want, you can email me, joeyimage@gmail.com. Twitter is @joeyimage, or you can even send me a message on Facebook, facebook.com/realjoeyimage. I want to talk about one other thing before I get out of here, but Prince passed away also. Just a few hours after Chyna did, or at least after Chyna's death was announced. So maybe 12 hours, something like that. Now, I was never a huge Prince fan. I'm more of a casual fan. Like, I know some of the hit, I know Little Red Corvette, which is a cool song, and My Name is Prince and I'm Funky in 1999, and, all that kind of stuff. But, like, Prince was the first guy that I ever heard actually, not even the first guy, the first singer, artist, anything, that I heard use the word fuck in a song. And I don't know what the hell song it was. I just remember there was one line that said, "Oh, girl, I want to fuck you so bad." That's all I remember. And it was like during an instrumental part of the song. I don't know. I remember my buddy John West, still lives around the corner from me, really, really close friends for the last 30 years. I remember he had the tape, and he was like, "You got to hear this, you got to hear this." And we were in his bedroom, and we were kids, and he played it, and he just played that part. And I was like, "Oh, he said fuck, oh my God." And it was like such a big thing back then when we were like, 13, 14, 15 years old, whatever it was. It was hilarious. But anyway, rest in peace to both of them. Prince is just a musical legend, a visionary. He was awesome. And again, like I said, not a ginormous fanatic, but definitely a casual fan. Sort of like me and Billy Joel or me and Elton John. Like, I know the hits. I never bought really the CDs or anything other than the greatest hits, but I know at least that much. So, again, I guess I'm going to get out of here. And like I said, this was wanted this to be a short episode, and thankfully it is. I will be back soon, hopefully next week, if not possibly the week after, because as I said, I am moving soon, just about a week and 2 days before I move. So I won't have a lot of time with my internet connections actually getting shut off here soon, and then it won't be turned on in the new house until May 3rd. So I won't be back until at least after that, if I don't get anything in next week. So again, thank you guys for downloading and listening to the podcast. And those of you that listen regularly, thank you so much. I got a couple of giveaways coming up. I'm going to do 2, as I mentioned this before, I've got 2 wrestling DVD documentaries. One is The Old Boys, one is Memphis Heat. I've got to do a giveaway soon. I've got to get rid of them soon, preferably before I move, so it's less stuff to pack, even though it's just 2 little DVDs. So, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I will figure it out. Anyway, thank you all again for downloading, for listening, for subscribing. I hope I have not pissed you off too much. Rest in peace to Chyna, rest in peace to Prince. Take care, everyone. See you later.
This has been a presentation of the Three Ropes Media Network. For more, find us on Facebook at facebook.com/3ropes or visit us at threeropes.com.